Them I see a week show. It's them I see a week show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's them I see a week show. It's them I see a week show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's them I see a week show. Talk truth, build roots, stories unfold. Motivate change, mobilizes the mode, that's the MR code. Hey, we growing, we know it. How we getting this? We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Yeah, one vision, one people, one destiny. We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Yeah. Yeah. We all in this with Ralphie. Yeah. Yeah. He crossed the floor, not fame or glory. He crossed the floor to rewrite the story. The people vex, the country tight. Ralphie step up to set things right. From Christchurch East to St. Lucie, everybody know he stand for we. He watch them lost, line by line. Yeah, he said follow the law, not the head lady. We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Yeah, we all in this with Ralphie. Yeah, one vision, one people, one destiny. We all in this with Ralphie. He crossed the floor to unite the country. So everybody sing in harmony. We all in this with Ralphie. Yes, we all in this with Ralphie. Hey, hey. Yes, we all in this with Ralphie. Hey, hey, hey. He said to the house, how you getting this? Watching the chaos parliament in a twist. One member while another talk too fast. Ralphie step in makes sense last. The people laugh, they clap, they grin. Cause Ralphie sharp, he know how to win. The law and logic, he keep them tight. Bring order to the parliament fight. Hey, R-A-L-P-H-I-E. Hey, we all in this with Ralphie. R-A-L-P-H-I-E. Stand up tall for unity. Hey. The TLPM, you head the cabinet, not the state. So respect the law before it's too late. Illegal business done on the floor, not in your mind behind closed door. He cool, collected, full of class. He used the facts and bust up, she bubble fast. He shaving down falsehood, clean and neat. Ralphie drop logic on every seat. Tourism built it, bill, now this new move. Free movement by imagination to prove. No legislation to pass immigration gate. Yet you telling visitors come, citizens wait. Ralphie say, hold on, let's get it straight. Law before limelight, check the man take. He watching close, the people clap. Cause Ralphie catching every trap. We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. One vision, one people, one destiny. We all in this with Ralphie. He crossed the floor to unite the country. Now everybody sing in harmony. We all in this with Ralphie. Yes, we all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Yes, we all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Yes, we all in this with Ralphie. Hey, hey, hey. We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Hey. We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Hey. We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Hey. We all in this with Ralphie. Hey, 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 hey. When the bells start twisting, Ralphie stepping again. When imagination start on this stage, Ralphie pull it straight. Are you getting this? We all in this with Ralphie.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, boys and girls, and welcome to the Marcia Week Show. And we are coming to you live from, where is this flag from? Barbados. We're coming to you live from Barbados. This is the national flag of Barbados. And you just heard the national anthem of Barbados. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. It is a Friday, February the 20th. Isn't it wonderful? It's a wonderful day, regardless. Listen, we are alive right now. We are alive and well. So, regardless of how our day went, if you had, I don't know if you had a day like mine, regardless of how your day went, okay? The reality is, Al, we are still here and we are alive. We are breathing. We are alive and breathing. And that is wonderful. That is wonderful. Hi, Al. Good night, Iretha. Good night. I see your questions there. I see your questions there, Al. Hopefully we can answer them tonight for you. Judy Gilks, good night. Good night, Carol. Good night. Good night. Good night, Bajan Boy. Good night. Oh my goodness, Teroni Hall. How are you? Good night, Ronald Archer. Good night. Good night, Mildred. Good night, Diana. Oh my goodness, people have so many opinions already in the chat. Lucinda, good night, Mavis, good night, Hurricane, good night, I am a big girl, good night, Shirley, Lori Bob. Oh my goodness, and Lori, I tell you, my schedule is, I have not forgotten, all right, but I have to put some things in place, and then I can really call you with proper news, okay? M. Gardner, Sandra Charles, Sandra Pierce, Beverly Perscott, Collerts, Tyrone Blackman, hey, Jonathan Clark, how are you? Iretha, we said Iretha already. Oh, Iretha is telling people to like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe. We're going to need to grow this channel, and I need everybody on board to help to grow the channel. All of us together. We're it. This is it, guys. This is it. Tommy, we are it. We are it. There's no two ways about it. We're trying to figure it out and say, this is it, right? This is it. We are it. Heathcliff, Joel, exit out. We are it, Tommy, Cami. This is it for us and all of us. We're in this thing together. Gregory Yearwood. Hey, God is love. Yes, and follow Iretha. You've got to like and share. This is a very important show this evening, okay? Here on the Marcia Week Show, we educate, we motivate, we mobilize, and we agitate. And there's a lot of education that is going to happen tonight. There's some motivation that is going to happen, and there is some agitation. It's the Marcia Week Show. That's what we do here. We are definitely trying to leave a lot of time at the end for you to call. We want to hear from you. What's on your heart? I know a lot of people are hurting, and so we want to talk it out, okay? We want to talk it out right here. Beverly says she's already liked and shared. We know what to do. Hi, Natasha Wilson. Go ahead, everybody, like and share. Like and share and subscribe. Some of you have been watching all the time and you have not subscribed because I haven't asked. I've been so busy just getting the workout. I'm not really busy on trying to grow subscribers and all of that stuff. But I realize it's so important, especially now, when we are going to be that voice, getting education out to the masses. We are the voice of opposition, and we will, of course, join with the senators who are in. We're going to talk and congratulate Senator Ryan Walters a little later. We're going to, and also the other young lady with her, and David's going to, I don't want to say the wrong name, but we are familiar with Senator Ryan Walters from the Democratic Labor Party, and we will continue to do the work on the outside here. We will, and support, as we did with Mr. Thorne and the two senators that were in. We will continue to do that. It is our duty, and we're not moving from that. Okay, we'll continue to do that. I think before we go any further, Dave shared a scripture verse with me, and Dave, if you could bring that up on the screen. And I know that, yes, they call me all kinds of names, but without apology, I read scriptures on the show, and I pray when I feel like praying. It's called the Marcia Week Show, and it's my faith. My faith is going to come out one way or the other. All right. So this is what it is. Yeah. All right. So Isaiah 59, my husband shared this scripture with me, and I was saying a scripture again to read on the show, but as I read it, I realized how important it is, right? How important it is. And so I'm very, very happy that Dave shared it, but I'll read a couple verses. Isaiah 59 says, "Surely the arm of the Lord is not too short to save, nor his ear too dull to hear, but your iniquities have separated you from God. Your sins have hidden his face from you, so that he will not hear, for your hands are stained with blood, your fingers with guilt. Your lips have spoken falsely, and your tongue mutters wicked things." And as I read that today, I just thought about the state that we're in Barbados. The state that we're in. The social media today, just the way that things are. No one calls for justice. No one pleads a case with integrity. They rely on empty arguments. They utter lies. They conceive trouble and give birth to evil. They hatch the eggs of vipers and spin a spider's web. Whoever eats their eggs will die. And when one is broken, an adder is hatched. Their cobwebs are useless for clothing. They cannot cover themselves with what they make. Their deeds are evil deeds, and acts of violence are in their hands. They are swift to shed innocent blood. Their feet rush into sin. They are swift to shed innocent blood. They pursue evil schemes. Acts of violence are in their hands. The way of peace they do not know. There is no justice in their paths. They have turned them into crooked roads. No one who walks along them will know peace. So justice is far from us, and righteousness does not reach us. We look for light, but all is darkness. For brightness, but we walk in deep shadows, like the blind who grope along the wall, feeling our way like people without eyes. At midday, we stumble as if we were twilight. Among the strong, we are like the dead. We all growl like bears, and we moan mournfully like doves. We look for justice, but find none, for deliverance, but it is far away. For our offenses are many in your sight, and our sins testify against us. Our offenses are ever with us, and we acknowledge our iniquities, rebellion and treachery against the Lord, turning our backs on our God, inciting revolt and oppression, uttering lies our hearts have conceived. So justice is driven back, and righteousness stands at a distance. Truth has tumbled into the streets. Honesty cannot enter. Truth is nowhere to be found, and whoever shuns evil becomes a prey. I'm a big girl say, isn't that what is going on now? Correct. The Lord looked and was displeased that there was no justice. He saw that there was no one. He was appalled that there was no one to intervene. So his own arm achieved salvation for him, and his own righteousness sustained him. He put on righteousness as his breastplate and the helmet of salvation on his head. He put on the garments of vengeance and wrapped himself in zeal as in a cloak. According to what they have done, so will he repay wrath to his enemies and retribution to his foes. He will repay the islands their due. From the west, people will fear the name of the Lord, and from the rising of the sun, they will revere his glory. For he will come like a pent-up flood that the breath of the Lord drives along. The Redeemer will come to Zion, to those in Jacob who repent of their sins, declares the Lord. As for me, this is my covenant with them, says the Lord. My spirit, who is on you, will not depart from you, and my words that I have put in your mouth will always be on your lips, on the lips of your children, and on the lips of your descendants, from this time on and forever, says the Lord. Yes, I think it's a relevant scripture. I think it's a very relevant, very relevant scripture. And thank you for listening. I'm reading the comment section. Irita says, correct is right. Wake up and speak out, people. The scripture is profound. That's Isaiah 59. Those of you who read the Bible, it's be great to take a look at that scripture. Yes, very relevant. Yeah. Lucinda said, amen. Yes. Isn't that what is going on now? That's exactly what is going on now. So we start our show on that somber moment, and which is good. It's good that we can stop and see where we're at. And I want to say to everybody that the blaming and the fighting and all of that, I think that we need to take stock of it, what we're doing in terms of our heart, because we are destroying each other. We're turning our attention on the wrong thing, right? Or we are focused on the wrong target. The target is the government. So do not waste your time. I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show you with the bill. There's a particular bill that they're seeking that's going to come up in Parliament, and there are a couple others that's going to come up. That's what you should do. Remember, they're like magicians. So when you're over here going, they're over here doing something. So I'm going to show you there's something that they're doing, and I guarantee you that once we start, everybody gets on this. And when I show you what it is that they're getting ready to do when Parliament opens up, you will see the big plan. I'm not going to tell you the plan. You're going to guess the plan. You're going to guess the plan and see what they're planning to do. Distractions, Diane. They want us to turn the gun on each other. As I've been telling the influencers, I've been saying to those who have social media platforms, you're wasting your time turning the gun, proverbial gun, on each other. You're wasting your time. It's a waste of time. There is one target. Everybody needs to understand there's one target for our survival, and it's the government, the present government. We are going to scrutinize everything that they're doing. We're going to shout out. We're going to march. We're going to write letters. We're going to do everything that we need to do in order to have a peaceable life in this country. Amen. So, folks, yeah. So do not get distracted. They're tricking us, I tell you. Now, I want to, before I go into the bill that they're trying to pass now, remember, THORNE is not in the lower house anymore, and we would hear from him on Tuesday. If they go in on Tuesday, you would hear about this. He's not there, so the only time we're going to hear about it is in the Senate, right? Because there's no debate. There's no debate that will happen in Parliament in the lower house. You will have debate in the Senate, all right, but none. So this program is going to be very important, and your research right? Those of you who are retired, you know, your teachers, your whoever, you're retired and you're age and you can read, you know, of a certain age, I know you can read and understand. Okay, go through the bills, go through whatever you need to do, and send it along. Something you see, Marcia, look at this. Marcia, take a look at this. All right. Very, very important that we are doing all of that right now. But before we do that, I think I sent Dave, I sent you a picture, Dave, of Mr. Thorne and something that I wrote up today. You know, yeah. So I sent you a picture, and I just want to read what I wrote on my Facebook page today. And you know what, Dave, you can even show the Facebook page if you want. Right? Because I want people to go on and search for the Marcia Week Show on Facebook. Right? Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Oh, it's a pity it can't open up. This is so you want to do the picture then, Dave? Sorry about that. Yeah, do the picture, please, because it doesn't open up properly. But I heard something today, and I was very shocked what I heard. I've seen so many things being passed around online about Mr. Thorne. And I stopped and I listened to some of them. I didn't listen to everything. And Dave, I sent you a picture. I sent you a poster. Yes, a poster in your WhatsApp. Yes, thanks. Apologies for that. But I want to say that we sat on this chair on this show, and every night we were on. When we started off first, we were coming on 5 nights a week with Caswell and Miss McLean. We started off with us, you know, just us, and it grew into Kimar and into Lynette Eastman, and we would call night after night on this show. Caswell, mainly because Kimar started a little later, calling for someone to cross. And thank God it was Mr. Caswell Franklin who actually made me understand, you know, who Mr. Thorne was, because you would imagine, you know, I'm the new kid on the block. I don't know these people. And he was really rooting for Mr. Thorne to cross. And I thank God for Mr. Franklin, Caswell Franklin, for doing that. Caswell Franklin, I would say, it was very, very instrumental on this show in getting Mr. Thorne, you know, what we would say. And we knew what we were doing. We'd come on and say, Mr. Thorne, somebody better cross, you know, we're calling names and so on. But and I know that he would exchange a lot of WhatsApp messages with Mr. Thorne and so on. And, you know, tonight I just want to thank Mr. Caswell Franklin for being instrumental through this show in encouraging Mr. Thorne to cross. And even after he came out, after he crossed, to be a source of encouragement for him. And I want to say that Mr. Thorne, I'm sure we are all proud of him. And we have said it on the show all the time. And we, you know, Caswell and myself and Kimar, we made up our minds that we would become that echo. We are going to support him. He's inside and we're going to be outside. And so all those concepts would have occurred on the show from Caswell, myself, Kimar, Maxine McLean, Lynette Eastman. Okay. Well, you know, Lynette had started to stop coming, but primarily by us, you know, those early, in the early days. Dr. Ferdinand came a bit later, but in the early stage, definitely myself, Caswell, Maxine McLean, Kimar came a little later. I remember actually when we were on the show and Mr. Thorne had crossed, it was Mr. Franklin, Caswell Franklin, God bless Caswell Franklin, who messaged me and said, Marcia, he crossed. And once she said he crossed, I knew what it was because he was working on him for months. So I just want to acknowledge what Mr. Caswell Franklin would have done in assisting with the nation with this. And that's the kind of man that Mr. Franklin is, who, as you know, had a big voice in the Senate. And I know for sure would have wanted Mr. Thorne to be there because of the type of person he said Mr. Thorne was. And I thank Mr. Franklin quite a bit for, basically introducing Thorne to me, because I didn't know him. But thank you, Mr. Franklin. And of course, Miss McLean helped as well, because I was suspicious of everybody. And Mr. Franklin, was one of those who reassured me that this was a good man, and that Barbados is going to be getting a very good opposition leader. Thank you so much, Mr. Franklin. But I wrote something today, and I would like for people to go to my Facebook page and to read what I wrote, because I thought I needed to address that today. And I did up this picture with this note on it. And my Facebook post started by saying class, service, sacrifice. Every single Tuesday, this man you see on my screen walked into Parliament alone. He pored over bills. He prepared. He stood up. He spoke up against 29, and may I add, and the speaker. He was ridiculed. They beat the desk. They interrupted him. One person said that if she wasn't a Christian, she would have cursed him. There are times he had to walk out of Parliament, but not many times. I think he probably only did that once when he was called a whore. He was attacked. And yet he showed up again the next week. Let me just say to Barbados, let me say to you all something. That was not pension politics. That was public service. For 2 years, this man represented Barbados, often without applause. Sometimes I look at him and I wonder, why is he doing, how is he getting it done? Often without protection, and certainly without comfort. And now the narrative shifts, Barbados. Now the same voices that once praised his integrity and called him decent, moral, courageous, are suggesting he seeks to serve for a pension. My question, as I would always ask, where is the evidence? Is this how we treat people who step forward to serve? Don't you think if he was concerned about pensions, like some of the others who wanted to cross, that I spoke with, who wanted to cross, but stayed on because of their pensions, he could have done the same thing, but he chose not to. If he's thinking about pensions, why would he cross? He would have stayed where he is. That's what makes sense. That's why, I see it and people are sending it all over the place. But, you just have to sit down and add a little logic and little thought to it. Where's the evidence? Bring it. Is this how we treat people who step forward to serve us? The truth is, you may disagree with positions. Yes. You may debate the strategy. you know, I'm not going to say, Mr. Thorne, nobody's perfect. I'm not. I'm sure there are things that I do, Mr. Thorne, is not in agreement with. We've had conversations about different things. You disagree with positions, you disagree, you debate strategy, because that is democracy. But to reduce sacrifice to being opportunistic without proof is unfair. Barbados, we must do better. If we cannot say thank you to those who stand in the arena when we disagree, then what message are we sending to the next generation? So let's not try to make up stories now. These are made up stories. These are made up stories. You're creating, to those who are doing that, you're creating a whole new narrative. Okay. Okay. So don't let us do that now. Don't let us go now and tell lies and leave the lies out there to create a narrative about you understand? So that is what social media will pick up, because you are looking clout and you're looking whatever your reason for it is. Barbados, is this how we treat those who step up? And, you know, oops, I just realized I spelled stepped there. There's an ED missing, the E missing from the stepped. It is heartless. And it makes me wonder, right? It makes me wonder, really. I also want to play a video here of Mr. Thorne. Mr. Thorne is the kind of man that you remember when everybody. No, I'm not going to play it. I'm going to play it when I. Yeah, Dave, I think you're right. We're going to play it now. So I'm going to play the kind of person that Mr. Thorne is. When he should have, in a lot of our minds, we felt, why are you endorsing the president? Hear from Mr. Thorne's mouth. Okay. Dave, we're going to do that now? Yeah. Hear from Mr. Thorne's mouth why he endorsed the president when he could have created a big ruckus over this man's appointment. But here the statesman, right? Here the leader. Here the national leader, Ralph Thorne. Listen to what he said.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Good morning, Your Honor, and colleagues, both of the lower house and the upper house. It is my distinct honor and privilege to speak on behalf of the opposition here and in the Senate, and to speak on behalf of the Democratic Labour Party. Contained within the Christian Bible is Ecclesiastes 3, and more particularly, Ecclesiastes 3:1. And we know that as a verse that captures the entire experience, human experience, of occasion and purpose. And I quote, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven." Verse 3, chapter 3, verse 8 speaks of one of those occasions, or two of those occasions, a time of war and a time of peace. We have come here today, Your Honor, to join in the formal election of a president for this republic. Today, this House, this Senate, this country has the assurance from this opposition and from this Democratic Labour Party here and in the Senate that this is an occasion of peace and not war. We do know that by its very nature, the House of Assembly and the Senate are bodies that engage weekly in discursive conflict. Today is not that time. I listened very carefully to the prayer of our chaplain, and he said, and I quote, "This is a significant day." And to that I add, this is a day significant, and not only significant, but heavy in its significance. I come to this task, Your Honor, with the recent experience, very recent experience, just this morning, as I do every morning. I receive by the WhatsApp medium several messages of prayer from political associates, from well-wishers, and from friends. And I value every one of those messages. It gives me the kind of start to the day that every politician must have and needs to have in this life characterized by its turbulence. And one of those messages this morning ended, and I quote, "And may the peace that surpasses all human understanding be with you now and always." And I come to this task with the recognition that my voice will reach the ears of cynics, my voice will reach the ears of conspiracy theorists, but they too have their rights, they too have their voice, and hopefully something that we say here today, all of us, something that we say here today will convince even the cynics, even the conspiracy theorists, and more especially those who love their country, those who love this country, that this is a day heavy in its significance. This is a day of peace within this state. And on Sunday, I visited the Nazarene Church in Ruby, and there was a moment when he who conducted the service asked the congregation to join hands in the singing of a song, and I quote, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me." And I hope that everyone has come to this occasion today with that purpose, that this will be a day heavy in its significance, a day remarkable from week to week. And of course, that is a song inspired by the scriptures of Luke 2:14. We come today and we are pleased to join in this formal exercise that brings to this Republic of Barbados a new head of state. And there's no rancor, there's no bitterness, there's no war. We come in that spirit because we recognize that this is the highest political office in this country, and that the office must not be reduced to political rancor, political disrespect, political bitterness. We are talking about the highest political office in this country. We are talking about the head of state, and respect must flow from every one of us. And Your Honor, you have our guarantee that respect for this exercise flows from the Democratic Labour Party and from this leader of the opposition. And I use the word state, the head of state. Perhaps we do need to demystify the office briefly. The state is still a political entity. And those who have expectations that it is religious office, for which the qualifications are different, may not be disappointed, but they need to understand the realities of the state and what the state is about. It is a political entity, and the head of state is political office. The state, Your Honor, is a human community that has the right to exercise sovereign power within geographical confines. That is what the state is. And the government is a part of the state, except that the government is not the state. The government is subsumed within the state. And the head of state, or the head of government, permit my correction, sits in subordinacy to the head of state. So we come to an understanding that the head of state is elevated within this geographical area, within this human community, within this nation. All persons sit in subordinacy to that political figurehead. I know that the writers use the metaphor, the ship of state, and it is a metaphor which is interesting. Not so much that ships exist, but that ships navigate. Sometimes those waters are calm, sometimes those waters are tempestuous. And that is why the office of head of state becomes all important. That person must bring to the office a steady hand. That person must bring to the office stability. And above all, that person must bring to the office wisdom and a sense of justice. Still, I say the presidency is political office. But I hasten to clarify that it is not partisan office. And so all of us agree, and all of us hopefully in this country agree, even the cynics and the conspiracy theorists agree, that upon accession to this office, the holder recognizes the political nature of the office because his work is political. But he recognizes that the office is political and that it is not partisan. And that becomes the essence of the office, political but not partisan. And who can legislate that sense of integrity? No one can. But I want to say, Your Honor, that this side accepts the qualifications in our new president to hold that office. And it does not take courage to say that. We heard the chaplain say this morning that we must have the courage to do what is right. And we in this Democratic Labour Party come today with the conviction that we are doing what is right, that we are doing what is right in the interest of this country, that we are doing what is right in the interest of the future of this country, that we are doing what is right in the interest of order and stability that must attend the affairs of this country, and that the person who holds the office of head of state must remain stable, must have a sense of order, and must occupy that office with a sense of justice. That is our hope, and that is our prayer, that this and these qualities will characterize the holder of that office, that there will be wisdom and maturity, and that it will not be a challenge. And it is not that we love our parties less, but that we love our country more. And that this state of Barbados will enjoy the kind of future for which we all hope, a future of order, a future of stability, a future of prosperity. And that is our hope, and that is our prayer. Long may the state of Barbados live. Long may the new president live. He has the best wishes of this opposition. He has the best wishes of this Democratic Labour Party. Your Honor, I'm obliged to you.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Now, that is class. Class is class. We're in class. You learn how to do it. And a lot of us, we wondered, why didn't Mr. Thorne put up a fight? Remember, he had that authority, basically. It was supposed to be between him and the Prime Minister. And I know that the reports I got is that when she came, she thought there was going to be a fight. And he thought, you know what, let's not make this political. You know, this is not politics. We're talking about our country, the highest office, which we're going to talk about that in the land. And so he did not want to make it political. And I remember we were on the show and a lot of people were angry with him, etc. Even tonight, somebody said, oh, whatever he gets, he takes, because he supported the president. And that's the kind of attitude that we take about things. Well, that's, you know, that's your choice if that's how you see it. But I see class, and I see somebody who is a true leader. And I want to say, yeah, masterclass. That's how you do it. Country first. You put country first over your party, and that's wonderful. I think that is. I thought we needed to do that. Thanks again, Dave. These are Dave's idea to do it now. We were going to do it, but you know, he said do it now, and I think we did the right. We're right. Yeah, I mean that's what they want the country to go to the dogs, right? That's what they want. He says a time for peace and a time for war, and he chose peace to get him in. Okay. And so that, listen, guys, what as somebody said, when they go low, Mr. Thorne went high. And so we don't need to be cursing on people on Facebook, because that's what they want. They are unhappy people, a lot of these people. And so that's all that they want to do, right? So we're not going to do that. But we want to also take the opportunity, Dave, because I don't want to go too far in the program. If you could put up Senator Ryan Walters, his picture up. And I don't know how many of you watched Mr. Thorne giving a story on why he chose Ryan Walters. When he, remember, Ryan Walters was one of the senators that he chose. You remember that when he, yes, when he went into office, he chose Ryan Walters, and Ryan, you know, gives a story to me, which I was shocked that he didn't even know Mr. Thorne, but Mr. Thorne knew his mother. See, and his mother worked in the law office, not as a lawyer, But he thought that it would be so wonderful for that lady whose son is some deacons, he said, if I'm remembering the story right. Right? He said that is what drew him. He said, I wanted that woman's son to walk up the steps of Parliament. Yes, that's what he said when he chose Ryan in that first instance. And I remember a lot of people said he wasn't ready. Why is he being chosen? He's not ready. And a lot of criticism. And he will tell you too, he said, Marcia, that first day I was so nervous. Ryan told me that in an interview. He said, Marcia, I was so nervous in my first time. I thought that I'm going to let down Mr. Thorne. But he didn't let down Mr. Thorne. He learned on the job, and Ryan became better and better. So tonight we want to salute him and thank Mr. Thorne for giving him that in the first instance, the last 2 years, giving him that opportunity, and now he is there again. And we want to say, Ryan, you will have our full support, because we're putting country, this is about our country, and so we are going to support him. We're also going to support Karina Goodrich, who is there once. She's doing what she's supposed to do, because I do know that some of these parties, my understanding, and they can come and say I am wrong, but my understanding is that there's some of them, don't know, I'm not calling any names, that were also supported by the party that is in power. Is that true? I'm asking a question. Is that true? And so once it is that whoever is in there, independent senators, opposition senators, we're going to have to work with everybody on the outside here. All right. So yeah. So we're going to do our best. And Mr. Walters, you have our support and you have our prayers, and any other senator who will stand up on behalf of the people, you have our support. Any MP who stands up on behalf of the people of Barbados, you have the support of the Marcia Week Show and the loyal opposition. Yes. And we're not looking at party. We are not looking at personality. You're standing up for the people. We're standing with you. Yes. Yes. Mr. Thorne mentioned that her name was Maureen. Okay. Which one is her? She's on the left. Is Maureen the person with the glasses on, his mother? I don't know who is his mother. I think that's his wife there. And then there's his okay, with a hat. Okay, that's his. Okay, all right. I don't want to call people the wrong people, but Ryan Walters, congratulations to you, sir, and all the very, very best. Thank you. All right. So Dave, thanks so much. Of course, we know that they would not have wanted Mr. Thorne in there. They believe that he is a man to be hated right now. And that's a man that they make sure that is not there. But I believe that, Ryan has been working with Mr. Thorne for 2 years, and I know that he would have learned a lot of things. And so let us see how that plays out in there now. We are rooting for him, and we will continue to pray and to support him. Okay, we will do that. And any other in there, because I can't vote for anybody else. Right? We know Ryan, and once he's doing what he's supposed to do in there, then we will support. All right. So until that time, brother, we ain't walking with you. Yes. Somebody said Mr. Thorne gave those intellectually challenged ones severe headaches. They just dread anything thorny, things which he's forgotten, they have no idea about, all crabs in a barrel. That's what it is. Yeah. Yes, that's what it is. And we are going to move on, you know. We're going to move on, you know, Barbados. We're not going to dwell there, right? Yes, yes, correct. He made her life a living hell, and she doesn't want him back in there. The budget is coming up. She doesn't want him back in there, but she might just be too sorry for all you know. Mr. Brathwaite, Mr. Ryan Walters might just be what she doesn't you know, expect. Yeah. And he might just become the next thorn in her side. Yeah. Never know. Never know. We continue to pray, and as I said, he will have this support once he's doing what you know, they're representing the people, and we will support him. And we thank Mr. Thorne for his tremendous work. And I am going to tell you that I am going to be one of those that the moment I see the lies out there, I'm going to correct the lies. And that's where I get into trouble, because I hardly will do it for myself, but I do it for others. I sat on the show and I did it for Caswell Franklin. You know, I have stood between people and Caswell. I do it. You know, any of the people on this show, people who serve, I'm going to help. I'm going to do that. You know, and so I will be there. I'm for Mr. Thorne. I'm telling you. So you come for him, you're going to come for me. Just understand that, because I'm not into all of that foolishness that you all doing out there. Yeah. Simple. All right. Well, guys, one of the things that's happening that they don't want you to see, they are dangling a little shiny thing over here. So look over here. Excitement. They put a letter out and everybody going crazy. Who sent the letter? And da, 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 da. And what did the letter say? But guess what? We are missing what this hand is doing over here. How many of you went to the parliamentary website? How many of you went to the parliamentary website? CRD, CRWD, we're going to get to that a little later. We're going to be talking about the president a little later. All right, we're going to talk about the president a little later, but I just want to talk about this bill here right now. Don't move, because a lot of you come on here, you're expecting a lot of fireworks and gossip and whatever. We're going to talk about the bill that they don't want you to look at. Thank you, Carol. Carol did the homework and went and looked at the website. Dave, can you, I don't know if I'm confused, if you put up the parliamentary website so that people know where to look. Huh? You have the bill. Okay, so let's go with let's go with the bill. Now, what I want to say is that there is a citizenship bill that when you go on the website, right, you are going, it's called the Barbados Citizenship Bill of 2025. You're going to look under the section that deals with deprivation. What, I'm calling that word so wrong. I was right? Huh? Deprivation of citizenship. Thank you. Deprivation of citizenship. There's a section that says that. I don't know, Dave, we have that up as yet? Yeah. Yeah. Deprivation of citizenship. Okay? And when you check that particular section, we're going to post, Dave, can you post the actual website? Somebody want the website, because this is what I am telling you all. You cannot sit down and trust these people. These people, I am telling you, you can't trust them. All of them. You have to stay on top of them. Look at what they're doing. All I'm going to do, I'm going to read what it says, and you tell me what it is that they plan to do. I'm going to watch the comment section. I won't say it out of my mouth, but we're going to do a guessing game here tonight, okay? Deprivation of citizenship, all right? And what you're going to find is that it says that the minister, this is a wording as it appears in the bill, the minister may by order deprive a person of his citizenship if the minister is satisfied that the person has shown himself by act or speech to be disloyal. Write down the word disloyal if you're taking notes, or you could just write it in the comment section. Very important. Disloyal or disaffected toward Barbados. And in that same section, deprivation section, it also says that the minister may deprive a person of citizenship if the minister is satisfied that the person has acted in a manner that is prejudicial to the security of Barbados or to public order. Now, those are two phrases that we should be concerned about, people. Disloyal or disaffected. These two phrases, once again, just like the cybercrime bill, they are not defined. Let me say that again. The bill, the Barbados Citizenship Bill, the two phrases that we should be concerned about is disloyal or disaffected. These two phrases, Barbados, they have not been defined in the bill. The next phrase, prejudicial to public order, is broad, and that is because it's broad, it's open to interpretation. And remember, now as you go through the bill, there's something that you're going to realize in the bill. The minister of the Home Affairs, that minister has the final say, and it rests on the minister. The determination of what is disloyal or disaffected, prejudicial to public order, is based on what the minister is satisfied about. The Barbados Citizenship Bill provides that the minister may deprive a person of citizenship if satisfied that the person has shown act or speech that they are disloyal or disaffected towards Barbados, or have acted in a manner prejudicial to the security of Barbados or to public order. I'm going to just let that sink in for a while. Dave, can you put up the graphic that I did this morning? This is the Minister of Home Affairs. See? When people thought I was going to deal with gossip, they stayed on. Look at the numbers now dropping because we're dealing with real things. And that's a challenge we have here. Folks, take a moment and just like and share. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, but like and share. I'm going to pause for you to do that. This is important. What are they really saying with this bill? This bill will give the Minister of Home Affairs power to revoke citizenship, for act or speech the government deems disloyal or disaffected? We need them to answer these things. Huh? Listen to me, folks. This is what we are going to have to do, you know. And we're not lawyers, so we're going to have to ask questions. So what I did, I just picked out the segment, the section, and put it here. I just showed you it. Disloyal to whom? Who defines disloyalty? Is criticism disloyal? Is protest disloyal? Vague language in law is dangerous. This one minister you see on here can grant citizenship. This one minister. Refuse citizenship. Revoke citizenship. Decisions declare final. This one minister. There's no, in the bill, the current bill, there is no independent appeal. There is no judicial oversight. Let me repeat. There's no independent appeal. There's no judicial oversight. Honorable Gregory Nichols, MP, Minister of Home Affairs and Information, has all of that responsibility. To grant citizenship, refuse citizenship, revoke citizenship. Now, I want to ask you something. When I went on the site, as I showed you, unless the government, they need to remove it from the site, but I saw that these are the bills that are coming up. And this was the first one that I started to work on. And this is what jumped out. What do you think they're planning to do with this bill? Let me just read it. I'll just pause and read the comment section, Barbados. What do you think they really want to do with this bill? Come to the front of the class, Pedro Gemot. Come to the front of the class. Now I understand what this is all about. We understand, Mr. John, you would know what they want to do. You would know what they want to do. I didn't even go there looking at that this morning, but let me tell you something. For the record, I want to say something about, Dave, go up and show this man's face. Honorable Gregory Nichols, congratulations on your winning your seat, and you are now a member of parliament. You're no longer in the Senate. And congratulations, and I do wish you all the very best. And I want to say to you, sir, that I remember you because you and my school and myself, we had some legal issues to deal with. This is NCF. You, sir, were the arbiter that was assigned to the Praise Academy case when the children did a production on Genesis 1:27, and their freedom of speech was taken from them. Freedom of conscience was crushed on because they disqualified them, banned the piece from NIFCA. You, sir, were assigned as the arbiter. You remember that? You were assigned as the arbiter. And I'm sure you remembered the embarrassment that you went through when you decided that you were going to rule in the arbitration. Yes, you ruled in the arbitration and had to rescind it. And you know very well why you rescinded it. Yeah. He was the arbiter and he rescinded it. You know why? Barbados, I'm going to tell you, I remind you. On this show, Caswell Franklin kept telling me, Marcel, he cannot be the arbiter. He should not be the arbiter. Our lawyers started to dig. He was a legal counsel for the NCF. Weren't you, Mr. Mann? Honorable Gregory Nichols, MP, Minister of Home Affairs and Information. I'm telling you the background. So when they start the witch hunt, you understand what's going on. I won't tell you all earlier clock about him. So you know what is going on, okay? Because I'm not afraid. Just know that. I want him to know because they have their people watching. Watch, and you let him know. Not afraid. Came up against you one time and you had to bow and you're embarrassed because they were trying again to pull a fast one on us. And it did not work. You had to jump on the radio because the lawyers found conflict of interest. You were the legal counsel and you were also a senator and expect that you're going to be the arbiter. And these are the kinds of people they put into office because he was there to do the bidding of the government against the citizens. A senator and a lawyer, and he was the arbiter in the case on behalf of the government. The arbiter is supposed to be somebody who is not connected to the government, who is no conflict of interest. Listen to the case properly. So just understand that when you're ready, when you all are ready, I want Barbados to know of what you and I and my school have been through. All right? I want Barbados to know it because I'm not foolish. And I say to Barbados, there is an email. Oh boy, let me get the one with the email while Dave, you can put up some of those comments, and I'm trying to find the one with the email. Guys, like the show, please. I have so much to cover tonight. It's not funny. There's so much to cover. I've done so much research this morning. So much to cover. But we're going to put up the one that has the email address that I'm going to, it's a lot, guys. And I sat here this morning studying and working. Okay. Now, this bill is with the Joint Select Committee. And Dave, if you check your WhatsApp, you'll see another picture that has, you will see another picture that has the email. Yes. Right. He was the arbiter that ruled against Praise Academy, which I'm artistic director. So understand what's going on here. But I tell you all, don't even start. Don't start. Before you even conceive it, don't start it. If you know what is good for you. If you know what is good for you, don't even start it. I'm telling you no. And that is not that I'm not talking about any violence or anything of the sort. They're going to say I threaten people. Not violence. But just remember what happened to him, where he had to go on the radio. Hurry up and run on to his friends, Starcom. Yeah, that BLP propaganda station. He had to run on there. They quickly gave him, because people from the NCF board and their family members were there. So they quickly gave him a space, and they were trying to suppress our story. The same Starcom was trying to. And thank God for people over that person at Starcom. They forced whoever was doing a particular role at the time to carry the news. Thank God there was somebody over that other person at Starcom who says, I'm going to stay on it till they carry the news, because they had intended to suppress it. Don't forget it. All right. Yes, it says here. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for your letter dated May 30th. This is the NCF writing to our lawyers. The National Cultural Foundation has seriously considered your request on behalf of your client, and after careful consideration, set out our response below. November 17, 2023, arbitral decision. At the time of the arbitral decision dated number Mr. Gregory, attorney at law, he was not external counsel, and it goes on. Go down there where he says that he rescinded, because they're making up stories there. We knew he was a lawyer, was a lawyer for them. Given the concerns raised in your letter March 34, Mr. Nichols took the decision that it was in the best interest of the parties that he rescind his decision. The effect of this, if accepted, is of us to return the matter of the complaint to the status quo ante, I guess before, such that a new arbiter will be selected and that person will hear and determine the complaint. It's almost 2 years and they haven't done it yet, because they don't want to go to true arbitration. They don't want to go to true arbitration. Okay? All right? So understand that, folks. And this is now the email address. I want you to take down the email address. And right, so under this bill, we want you to write to Honorable Gregory Nichols to ask him to explain. We want explanation for what does it mean by disloyal or disaffected. All right, what does that mean? Disloyal to whom? All right. So we want to be able to talk about that. So write them a letter. Take this off. Right? Somebody wants to know the website, the Parliament website. Yes, because we said there are only two genders. How many of you are going to write the letter? Listen, I'm not into wasting my time, you know. I'm not on here doing all of this research and I come and then you don't do anything. We do not have anybody in the lower house. You understand me? Our hope is in the Senate and us. Yeah, we're going to pray. We're going to pray, but we're going to write some letters. Thank you, Noreen, to remind us that we are going to pray. But we need to write some letters. You need to send off some emails, please. Take the email address. It's also on my Facebook page. All right. Important. Yes. I see Mr. Bob has joined. Let me know if you're ready, Mr. Bob. Yes. Hi, good night, Mr. Bob. How are you?
Good night, good night. A bit tired, but I'm here. Good night to the lawyer opposition. And we are indeed the loyal opposition. Yes,
I
here we
just
are again.
congratulated Ryan
Yes.
for his Senate placement, and we look forward to working with him
Yes.
here on the loyal opposition,
And what,
because that's going to make our life a little easier. Not much easier, because it's just, we don't know. I don't know much about Karina Goodrich and where she stands, but we know Ryan, and we will trust that he would have, had 2 years of experience, and and so on. So we're going to work with him.
yes.
We were just talking about this bill that is before us right now. That is something that is up for discussion. I can guarantee you, probably because we're talking about it now, they probably won't touch it. You see? I want everybody to go to the Parliament website, barbadosparliament.com. Um, yeah,
Yes.
yes, and yeah, yeah, and yes, okay.
I must say that this is what we have to do now. We have to be more conscious and conscientious of what is happening around us and aware of what is being put across or um, being put in legislation and bills that would affect us as citizens. Now that we have, again, have gone back to 30-0 in the House of Parliament. And this is where our people now have to be, who care about Barbados and care about governance, need to be more aware of what is happening and what is likely to be enacted, because you have no opposition where, and the debate that, and we will have to wait until it gets to the Senate to have some real debate, because they will be in the House talking to themselves and applauding themselves and patting themselves on the back. And if the last term was anything to go by, I'm hoping that the lazy, lackadaisical approach to reading bills before they come to Parliament, reading and making sure that they are written and drafted properly, then um, then we have to, as the people know, be more aware.
But Mr. Bob, I'm sorry. I don't want to. I lost track. Dave,
Right.
Weeks, people, look at the screen. Remember the word disaffected?
Disaffected, yes.
Read what that said, Mr. Bob. I can't
Dissat-
read.
Dissatisfied with the people in authority and no longer willing to support them.
What?
So if you express what you've placed there, and that word is in that bill, then it is saying to us or anybody that if you express satisfaction with you, the ones who are in charge, and in our context, the government, then you're no longer willing to support them, that you are likely to reap the consequences of what is being placed in.
Hold a minute, folks. Can everybody pause and read what Dave? This is a meaning. This is one of the meanings here of disaffected. Stop typing, folks, and just read the bill.
Put it
Just
back
read
up.
what's on the.
Put it back up. You can put it back up there.
Let them read this first, and then we're going to put up that show you the word in the bill. See, Barbados not interested in this. They want gossip and they want fire rage. They want. But look at this here. Dave, can you show them the word in the bill again, please? Thank you. Because they're going to think that we're making it up. Yeah. It's right there. It is right there in the bill. Wow. So get ready for wow. This is what we're in. Okay. All right. So you can take it off, Dave. You can thank you. Let's tonight, guys. We're going to a little later in the program, Mr. Bob. I've created a whole. I have a whole segment for another 25 minutes that we're going to do talking about the role of the president, the role of the senators. We're going to go through some of those are that they call independent senators, but we're not going to do that just yet. We're going to go straight to Mr. Jason Phillips. Jason Phillips, if you can hear me, and to turn on his camera and microphone. Okay. And we're going to chat with Mr. Jason Phillips, and then we will bring in Apostle Canterbury as well. We'll have a discussion with him, but it's basically, this is his segment. All right. And then when he's on with us, so 25 minutes or so, and then we're going to look at the role of the president together, the three of us. All right. So let me also just welcome Mr. Apostle Canterbury's here. Good night.
Good night to you.
Good night.
And good night to Mr. Bob. So great to see you guys on tonight.
Good night.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, I tell you, St. Peter's in the house, if I remember well. This is all
listen.
St. Peter's.
St. Peter, all St. Peter tonight.
Good night. Good night, Jason.
Good night, people of St.
Good
Peter.
night. Good night, Mr. Phillips.
Good night, Apostle Canterbury. Good night, Miss Marcia.
Yes, sir.
By extension, good night, all of Barbados.
Good to see you.
Yes, it's a real privilege to have you on tonight, Jason. You've become one of my favorite people because whenever I'm out with you, I keep watching. I say, well, I'm watching you to see what you're going to do now. I love your spirit. I love your boldness. And I really enjoyed your campaign, to be honest. And I have dubbed you the social media king of the campaign. I have dubbed you that. In one word, what would you say? How would you describe your campaign?
My campaign was a campaign of the people, for the people. One word, a campaign of love. I enjoyed the whole experience. On both sides of the divide, people showed me tremendous love. I'm talking about the Democratic Labour Party supporters and even the Barbados Labour Party supporters. I was also able to bring some independent supporters on board as well. Indeed, when I traversed the entire nation, if I am in Christchurch and all these things, people are shouting me out, Jason, we love you, I wish I could vote for you. If I'm in Bridgetown, people stop. Is this Jason Phillips? I want to see you. I want to touch you. I want to, I went in the store to buy a tie. And the person, the proprietor of the store said, Jason, just leave, take the tie and go. You don't owe us anything. So the love is tremendous.
Yes. And I mean, how could they not love you, Jason? I mean, the first time I saw you down there, I said Peter walking in the water. So some of your videos are funny, but then, I mean, that was a serious one. People were flooding out. I remember you came on the show, you roll up your pants and you were in the water, showing the people how deep the water is and how the people are being flooded out of their homes, etc. And I was really drawn to that. A lot of people were saying, Jason, be careful, you might catch something in that water. But you tell us about that experience.
Sometimes when you are so passionate about people and you want to serve them well, sometimes you look beyond self and you look at the issue at hand. And
yes.
To that flooding, I would have written the authorities, and I have the letter to show. I would have written the authorities expressing a concern that this is a recurring issue. And that's what I said in my video, and I said online, we are not blaming the government for the rain. We are not blaming the government for the flooding. We are blaming the government for their inaction because it's a recurring problem. And if there's a problem that reoccurs every time it rains or there's a seasonal river, then government should act and act properly. I could appreciate that some remedial work was done upstream, but not sufficient work was done. And what occurred could have been avoided only if the government had paid attention to the needs of the people, the good people of St. Peter.
And so you took it on, and that's excellent. And you're not even the MP, but you know, you and I spoke today, and you know, there are some concerns that you have, you know, even in what is happening in the country at this moment. And you know, you said to me, Marcio, a lot of people are missing. You know, you said to me, Apostle, he said a lot of people are missing the target. They are looking over here where they put a shiny thing dangling over here. And like the bill I just showed everybody, the citizenship bill is happening over here. So now you're over here screaming and everybody quarreling with each other on Facebook and social media and fighting and whatever. And they're doing something over here. What are some of those issues that you are concerned about, Jason?
For example, we have to look at legislation. This government right now there's no alternative voice in the House of Assembly. That's the lower house. And therefore, they can introduce bills into Parliament and pass them in the lower house without any scrutiny. And what they will do, they will create a facade. They will create an issue, a problem, something that you will get a lot of gossip, distract the public, while on the other hand, pushing through legislation to benefit their friends and family or their donors. I dare say that, right? And we must be very, very vigilant. I will be very vigilant, right? And I will be out there. I will be observing. I will be listening. And I will be scrutinizing this government because this government is very deceptive.
And you know, you said that to me today, and actually I had written up on my Facebook page early this morning. I put on their distraction. Yes. And then I put the bill that one of the bills that will be coming up into the lower house, the citizenship bill, where they can revoke citizenship from people because of really frivolous, well, I call it frivolous reasons, because they have to basically be able to tell us what it is. In fact, somebody here, Izzy went and put it on, so she put it on AI. And that's the thing they need to understand. We not all of us are lawyers, but we got computers. And she says, AI said, left undefined, disaffected is legally risky because it can be read so broadly as to capture lawful dissent and invite constitutional and human rights challenges. So, you know, those are one of that's a bill, you know, like that. But continue, Mr. Phillips.
Like, for example, up to now, the integrity legislation has not been passed into law. Why not? That is the piece of legislation that needs to come to the fore, and that should be the first thing on the agenda for this government. We want to know I want to be careful with my language. We want to know the assets of parliamentarians. We want to know how they achieve these assets. And when did they achieve these assets? The public of Barbados want to know this. This is very important because you are elected to serve the people of Barbados only. And I leave it like that.
Yes. Mr. Bob, any thoughts there on that? He's saying that the Integrity in Public Life Bill should be the first bill that they're going to proclaim because it's already passed through both houses. It's just to be proclaimed.
But he's correct. He is correct. If this government is still part of their what they wanted to came into the 2018 talking about accountability and transparency, if that is still what they are concerned about, that is one of the first things that they should. But we don't know what is their agenda. It should what their this term is going to be focused on.
Am I stuck or is it? Jason, are you there?
I'm still here. I'm hearing you.
Okay, you're hearing me. Okay, so I'm not. So it must have been Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob, we didn't hear the final thing you just said. Thank
I
you.
said that my internet is giving trouble, so I said that if accountability and transparency is one of those two things that they are still looking at, then integrity legislation should be a very important part of what they do.
Yes, yes. So you are in agreement with him that, but the reality is that we're not hearing anything about that. So I went on the website. I didn't see that as something that is there to be well, you can't even say debate because it's discussed right now. And I think that integrity in public life bill should be with the president. At this point, and why isn't it proclaimed? I don't know. But Jason, one thing I love about you, you're not afraid to bring the fight to these people. You're not afraid to be in their midst. This is your picture here on the screen. And you did some amazing marketing here because you knew that they were going to pick you up, the media. You went in their camp. Talk to us about that and relate it to how it is that you're going to be now that the election is over. Is this the same kind of Jason that we're going to see, one that is so bold that would go in with his yellow shirt in the midst of all of these people wearing red?
To answer the last question first, I am going to be more of a lawyer now. I'm going to be a lawyer in that I'm going to be looking at the legislation being passed in Parliament and scrutinizing it, because the election is over. We have spoken. To answer the first question, second now, on the night when this video was captured, I had just left my campaign office. We were over by a restaurant. The members of my team went into that restaurant to get something to eat. You know me, I don't like much eating. So I went over to watch the public meeting. And when I exited my vehicle, I saw Mr. Colin Jordan coming towards me. We spoke. He was very cordial and graceful. He said good night. I said good night. And I went over to a side on the bridge, just observing what was going on, very quietly so. I did not plan anything. I did not intend to disrupt or to be noticed, actually. But the person on the platform cheering the meeting, let's put it like that, he wanted to embarrass me, I suppose. So he called me out. Of course, if he calls me out, I'm not going to back down. I was born and bred in Spikestown. My grandfather's house was just a stone throw away from where we were. So what did he expect? The people in the audience, whether BLP or otherwise, most of them are from St. Peter. They're my family, they're my friends, or my acquaintances. And indeed, I don't have any roast with people in St. Peter. I'm well loved in St. Peter and in Spikestown particularly. So when some of them are neighbors. So when they saw me, they were excited. They came over, they embraced me, they hugged me. Some whispered to me, I believe I heard it on camera as well, that they're going to vote for me. And indeed, some did vote for me. At the end of the day, it's a public meeting. Even though it might be chaired by a particular political party, it is still a public meeting. I'm a member of the public. So I'm entitled to listen.
Excellent. Any thoughts on that, Mr. Bob, before we move on?
That was as you said, a piece of free marketing. It created, that was for days, that was being talked about in the political circles. It captured the imagination. Some people have various opinions about it. Our elections have never had any violence, so being there or passing and being called out or approached by bail payment, I don't think that his life was in any danger or anything like that. We're not that kind. We have robust debates. We don't get into that kind of political violence that we see in other places. So, what he did but after the elections, we're all Barbadians. After the cut and thrust of politics, we're all Barbadians. We have to live. All right. So we can't continue to divide ourselves by color. The elections are over, and then now we look at governance.
Yes, and I bring Mr. Apostle Scanterbury from St. Peter in the conversation. What I love about this is a backstory, where he said they thought he would have been embarrassed because they called him out from the stage, but he turned it around to something good. Any quick comments on that, Apostle, before we continue the conversation?
Well, sure. I think Mr. Phillips could tell you that I actually messaged him and told him that was an excellent move. You know, it pretty much worked well in his favor in relation to what's happening there. And I did hear when the announcer was saying, you know, we want to welcome Mr. Jason Phillips, and we're hoping that when the election comes around, he would vote for Colin Jordan, which was a bunch of nonsense. But I think the energy that move generated was quite impressive. I love the fact that it went around the island and people got to see that even though you were in an opposing party, you still have the fearlessness and the tact to make himself available at that point. So as I said to him, it was an excellent move, and I think it did him well.
And yes. I'll add this to the conversation, right? Without calling names, on the 16th of this month, a lady from Six Men's Village called me. She was very, very upset. She said, listen, I voted for Colin Jordan, but here is such and such is not happening. Not in her favor. Jason, could you come? I want to see you. And I went to her. I'm not the representative for the constituency, but she wanted to talk to me because she told me, and I believe her, she told me that she spoke to him and XYZ did happen or did not happen. But she was so upset that she wanted to speak to me. And we spoke. We even did a video. I'm still yet to release that video. I'm contemplating whether to release that video. But it tells me that the people of St. Peter, they still see me as a leader.
Yes.
And regardless of what side they're on, if they call me, I'm going to come. Because I'm very, very serious about what I said. I'm not in this political arena for a position. I'm here for a purpose. And I maintain that St. Peter is a forgotten parish and that Spikestown is a town in name only. And I will move heaven and earth, tooth and nail, until certain things are done in the parish, in the constituency. Because as it stands, they have taken the good people of St. Peter for granted. If you go into Indian ground, the roads up there are awful. It is as
Don't even talk about that. I mean, come on.
Like World War III, they have places that you have no street lights. You go into Boscobel, look, in simple language, you cannot get a smooth road coming from Boscobel to Spikestown. You cannot get a smooth road coming from Indian ground to Spikestown. It is high time that we have a mini hospital in the north. Spikestown is the place for it. It is high time that we have ambulance service in the north. Spikestown is the place for it. The mini hospital should be the Morris Bayer Polyclinic, which should be upgraded to have 3 or 4 wards, ambulance bay, an accident and emergency department. It is not political. It is just the right thing to do. And this mini hospital will cater for the good people of St. Peter, all of St. Lucie, the northwestern tip of St. Andrew, and the northern tip of St. James. If you wake up at 3 a.m. and you cannot breathe, you cannot hold your breath until an ambulance comes from Bridgetown. You just cannot. And already we had an incident. A lady from Golden Mile suffered an asthma attack and she died waiting on the ambulance. So this thing goes beyond politics. If you take people money in the form of taxes, you must represent people, and do not tell the Barbadian public that you cannot support this venture because it's too expensive. We had COVID-19. A hospital was created in St. Lucie. I think it was $125 million. And now COVID is over. We're still paying that bill, that the money that they borrowed, and there's no hospital. For crying out loud, you have to care about people. You can't just pretend to care about people when there's an election. Why can't we have a mini hospital in the north? You had one in St. Lucie during COVID. And if you could afford it then, and you could house it, and you could provide the staffing for it,
Yes.
there's absolutely no reason why we cannot have one in St. Peter. It is just the right thing to do.
Yeah, somebody saying these are excellent ideas, and I mean, and said the same person said, and they said you all weren't ready. The man is sitting down, your Apostle and Mr. Bob, just rattling off the ideas because you could tell he believes in it, and he's not going anywhere, and that's what I love about it. You're saying something, Apostle?
Yeah, I mean, like myself, Mr. Bob, and Mr. Phillips, we've been living here in St. Peter pretty much for all of our lives. And what Mr. Phillips is outlining are elements that after 42 years of being under the regime of the Barbados Labour Party since Owen Arthur and going into the last 8 years of Mr. Jordan, and now for another further 5 years, that will take us up to a maximum of 57 years that the Barbados Labour Party has been, ruling St. Peter. All of these very simple things that could have been done to make things easier for the people in St. Peter, and by extension, the people in the north of the island, could have been done. We had the St. Joseph Hospital that was there, that we had all types of, situations where that was concerned. He talked about the Morris Bayer Polyclinic being a 24-hour facility. I know for a fact that the Barbados Labour Party has a, I don't know if to call it an event every year under the auspices of the Mr. Colin Jordan, where they raise funds to purchase equipment for the Morris Bayer Polyclinic every year. But yet we're still seeing it there year after year, not being opened, not being upgraded to a 24-hour facility. We live in St. Peter. We have cane fields. We have 36 plantations in St. Peter. And you would think that by now, in an area where cane fields are prevalent, that you would have a fire tender. And yet, there's no fire tender in St. Peter. There's none in St. Lucie. There's none in St. Andrew. These are all major cane-producing parishes. So you can see that, as Mr. Jordan, Mr. Phillips said, that there's been no effort to fix things in St. Peter. Now, I passed through Spikestown on the night that the Barbados Labour Party had their event there. I think that was the very same night that Mr. Phillips would have made his entrance there. And I heard the Prime Minister saying about, we have the deeds for the property in 6 Mins. And I know that situation personally, and I can tell you, she does not have the deeds for that land. Okay? And Mr. Bob knows that. I'm certain Mr. Phillips knows that. But, all of these employees, and we talk about the road conditions in Indian Ground, French Village, Brevitor, into Boscobel, Roebuck, Fort Hill, Orange Hill. I mean, you don't want to drive up in that area. So I'm really shocked again that the good people of St. Peter again have gone the route to re-elect Mr. Jordan as their representative, a person that has not in any way represented St. Peter on any official level as far as I'm concerned. So what Mr. Phillips has been purporting here tonight, he is absolutely correct. And he's done the work to see things for himself. So he's not talking from hearsay. He's seen the issues that we have had to deal with here in St. Peter for many years. And I'm just sorry that he didn't get that opportunity to showcase his talent and his ability
at this time.
Yes, at this time.
Let me as we're closing up here, Mr. Phillips, in this segment with you, one of the things that we talked about that really concerned you is you're looking at this cabinet, the numbers in the cabinet, you're looking at the salary, you know, that they're supposed to receive. You have a lot of senior ministers and lots of you know, they're getting a lot of travel and allowances and gratuities, all of these things, and it all adds up. And there's something you want to say to Barbadians about that?
All right, look, we have, I think it's now 27 cabinet members. That is a big bill on the purse of the government. One of the issues in the election was high cost of living. Cost of living, part of it is high cost of living, part of it is the high taxation that government implements. And that taxation might go on food, it may go on services. To reduce taxation, government can reduce spending. And to reduce spending, cut your wage bill. Do we need 27 ministers?
Cabinet members.
Cabinet members? The answer is no. When the Democratic Labour Party had about 14, I think it was, subject to correction, they had a whole hullabaloo. Now, the entire government seems to be a cabinet minister. And it says to us, and it says to me, that the Prime Minister of Barbados, she does not care about the people. She has an agenda, and she is only concerned about her agenda. In fact, I would even go a little further. She criticized the Democratic Party, talking about the lost decade. No, we found that decade. It is in her cabinet. 2 persons from the Democratic Labour Party that she criticized vehemently, that she considered to be responsible for the lost decade, is now part and parcel of her found lost decade. And now, because she has a clean sweep, she feels that she can do as she likes. And therefore, Barbadians, our Prime Minister does not care about the cost of living, because she has a huge cabinet, unnecessarily so. And we will continue to make this known to the public. This is unprecedented. I cannot, for the life of me, understand why you would need a cabinet so big. It is unconscionable. And look, when you factor in a large cabinet with consultants, you can only imagine the kind of money that this Barbados Labour Party-led government will be spending on salaries and perks. Those fees, those salaries could hire about 300 or 400 Barbadians.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're interested in the cost of living, if you're interested in providing work for ordinary Barbadians, the cabinet should be no more than about 12 or 14 people, and use the rest of that money to employ ordinary Barbadians. Show Barbadians that you care. Show Barbadians that you want to give people a piece of the pie, an opportunity to survive rock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is outside of what we were discussing just now. But back to St. Peter, the Morris Bayer Polyclinic needs a dentist. There's no dentist at the polyclinic. That's just by the way.
Say that again. Let me put you. Say that again. You see where this man's heart is? Go ahead.
At the Morris Bayer Polyclinic right now, there is no dentist. If you have an emergency, you have to get your tooth removed, a little child fall, breaks a tooth or whatever. There's no one in St. Peter in the public sphere, the public healthcare system that can assist. The Morris Bayer Polyclinic needs a dentist. There's none there.
Wow. And that's what I like about what you're doing, Jason. I have to tell you, it's very localized. You know, yes, you're dealing with the bigger issues, but I love the fact that you could sit here and just freely speak to us, you know, about your constituency. It tells me somebody you know it. As we close this segment with you, there's this article here where, you know, it's saying that PM Motley calls for fairness amid global crisis on World Social Justice Day, and I love each of you to give a short comment on it, because we want to go on to talk about Mr. President. That I know that Apostle is all geared up for this one, but we want to spend the next 3 minutes talking about this. Mr. Bob, what are your thoughts about this? PM Motley calls for fairness amid global crisis on World Social Justice Day.
We have sometimes I have to admire the persons who write the speeches, because they are very good at producing the right phrases, the right catchy lines that will capture the attention of the international community. But that is what you do when you're trying to endear yourself to the international community and build your own image. They're away from what is happening at home. But social justice, please look at our country as well. We have some very pressing social concerns with our people here in Barbados. Cost of living is one. Our education needs really to be looked at. Our healthcare system. What has been happening under this government with our hospital? Has it been fair to the ordinary Barbadian who have to go there, who cannot afford to get on a plane to go to Miami for medical attention? So that fairness that she's talking about must be here at home first.
Yes, most
and I see a comment here about fairness during the election. And was it fair for persons to be disenfranchised and then to get up a few days ago and see the architect of that disenfranchisement being awarded for Senate pick?
Yeah, but we're going to look at that. We're going to look at those picks a little later. Let me Apostle, a quick comment on this, because I want to go on your favorite subject, which is the president. So don't take too long on this. Give me a quick comment. Go right ahead.
Madam Reese, I'm going to simply say this. I don't think the Prime Minister should talk about fairness at all. You cannot be talking about fairness on a global scale, on a global scene, and you demonstrate total unfairness in your own country. The way how you snap elections, the way how you make sure that you discredit other parties, the way how, even to this day, their posters are still up all over the country. In comparison to the other parties, their majority, they talk about fairness. I really don't think that PM Motley should even use that word, because we've seen in our last election that fairness is not in the vocabulary of the Barbados Labour Party. And for, I guess that's probably the person who's writing that for her, but I can tell you those are not her real words, because I have not seen an ounce of fairness from this Labour Party in this last election or in the previous election. And for this type of statement to be coming out on a global scale on the global scene from our Prime Minister is a huge laugh for me.
Yeah, actually, David, somebody is saying that there are comments on it. Are there comments on it? Can we read a couple of the comments? Sometimes I just like to read the comments, Jason, and laugh. Let's see if we can see any of the comments at the bottom there. While Jason, any thoughts on what you're seeing here? You just came out of an election here. When you see a comment like this from the Prime Minister, what are your thoughts?
I think that our Prime Minister is one of the most unfair leaders you could ever want to lead a country. And I think without fear or favor. For example, we just had an election. I could talk about other social issues, but I'm going to stick to what just occurred because it offends the credibility of our democracy. We start off by the government not giving the Democratic Labour Party the subvention. And we had all excuses for not giving it. But in the interest of democracy, the subvention should be given to the party. So it means now that money, all of that money is going to one party, the Barbados Labour Party. And it meant that candidates, I can tell you because I am one of those candidates who had to pay to run my campaign out of my pocket. And in opposition, it is very difficult to get donors. So how is that fair? How are we going to have a fair process when you have a government that get a subvention and it also get donations? Opposition party that is struggling to get donations and it gets no subvention, and candidates have to pull their own pocket to run an election. Every night I spoke in the election, it cost me no less than $1,000. Then on election day, I had to pay a minimum of 30 people, a minimum $350 each, plus food and so on. It is not fair, and it's not fair to democracy. It is awful when we have a Prime Minister that calls it an election and the electoral list is not yet ready. And she knew it was not ready because it was supposed to come out on the 31st of January. The electoral list was in shambles. You cannot expect to have a fair and free election and turning back thousands of Barbadians from participating in that franchise. Barbadians were turned away. They could not vote because for one reason or another, their name was not on the list. And I cannot understand why your name is not on the list if you voted in the election cycle the time before. There were people who voted 2 and 3 election cycles. They did not die and come back. They did not leave Barbados for an extended period of time. I could not understand why you would take someone's name off the list and then you can't find it on the list. If your name was on the list the last election cycle, unless you died and somebody produced a death certificate saying that you have died, why take that person's name off the list? Or why move that person? If you're custom voting in one polling district or polling station, why move them to somewhere else? I think, and I may be wrong, but I think that sometimes things are done to create confusion and chaos, to create voter apathy. Because it seems as though when there is a low voter turnout, it favors the Barbados Labour Party, if you look at the statistics. And when there's high voter turnout, it favors the Democratic Labour Party. So if you can frustrate people into not voting, or you make people believe that it is a foregone conclusion, then you get this voter apathy.
Yeah.
And I am very upset that, one, the subvention was not given and still is not being given to the Democratic Labour Party. The electoral list was not ready, and it still isn't ready. And what add insult to injury is that a former head of the EBC was rewarded with a Senate position. It looks ugly, to say the least. It looks very ugly, and it leaves a bitter taste in the mouths of Barbadians. If you are rewarded by this government with a Senate post, why were you given that post? I don't know. But Barbadians are very, very, very upset, right? And if you're concerned about social fairness, a society, a democratic society, must not only have a fair process, but the process must see, when the public looks at the process, it must look as though the process was fair. Don't just say that the process is fair. It must be seen to be fair, right? And I'm satisfied in my mind that Barbadians are not feeling as though the process, the whole process, the electoral process, was fair. And what is happening to the opposition Democratic Labour Party with this subvention, it is not fair. It is making it extremely difficult for candidates to participate in the whole election process. It seems as though you're trying to stamp out the opposition, or you make it so weak that it becomes irrelevant. I still say this though. I am a solid member of the Democratic Labour Party. And it's almost, I cannot think of anything that you can do to deter me. Once the good people of St. Peter wants me running and participating in the process, I will. And as a Barbadian, I am motivated to participate in this process because no one person owns Barbados. No one party can dominate this country. And in St. Peter does not belong to any party either. St. Peter belongs to the people of St. Peter, the constituents of St. Peter. And Barbados belong to Barbadians, right?
Yes.
And this message can be taken to the head of government, the leader of government. I am unafraid. And there are Barbadians out there who are unafraid. This government must be careful. They've got only 30%, 30.8% of the population participated in this election. And a subset of that 30.8% voted for the Barbados Labour Party and the Democratic Labour Party and the other parties. So this government does not have a real mandate. They have to be careful that they do not offend the majority of Barbadians. Because you saw what happened in France many years ago when someone said, eat cake, when they complained that they were hungry. She said, eat cake to eat cake. And we know what happened to her. So this government, this Barbados Labour Party-led government, better be careful how you treat Barbadians. Because a lot of Barbadians, including Barbados Labour Party supporters, they're not satisfied with this government, this regime, and they stayed away from the polls. A lot of Barbados Labour Party supporters did not come out and vote for this Barbados Labour Party.
Yes. Well, very well said, Jason. Thank you so much for being here, and don't be a stranger. I know that you have your the DLP TV, which I'm hoping that you'll be able to get that going again, get starting again. And so all the best to you. And, I'm just a phone call away. All right. God bless you.
Good night, Alvin. Good night, Apostle.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Good night.
Blessings.
St. Peter, and by extension.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much. Wow, that was great. But guys, I Apostle and Mr. Bob, I want to hopefully, can we take 30 minutes and do this? I still want to leave some time for people to call in because I promised them that we would. But I did some research because I like to talk about facts. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to present pieces of what I found, and then we stop and discuss. right? Because I don't want us to speak from our head and to, this is important. We're talking about tonight, guys, the president. Mr. President, is he a safeguard or a symbol? We're talking about the presidency in a one-party parliament. We have a one-party parliament. We can all agree on that, right, Mr. Bob?
Yes.
Everybody?
Agree.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So when we're discussing the president, people love to say, "Oh, you've got to that is the office, and you've got to." Yes, it is the office, but he's also a public official. So we're not being disrespectful in asking questions tonight and going through trying to understand as well, educate ourselves on his role, so that we are not making mistakes, requiring this of him and that of him. But nothing is wrong with looking at the president and looking at what he's doing. He's a man. You're going to respect the office, but it doesn't mean I can't criticize him. Right? Remember, we're not taking calls now. I think I said that. I probably didn't say that. No calls right now, guys. No calls now, because we're running a bit late. All right? No calls now. No calls now. All right. Okay, good. So 1 second. I think this caller is not hearing. Okay, just let me, Dave, if you could take this device from me. All right, let's do that. I'm sorry. So Barbados, we know, has a parliament that holds all 30 seats in the House of Assembly, right? And according to the laws, that outcome is lawful, right? They're saying it's a free and fair elections. A lot of us don't believe it was free and fair, but it is what it is, right? Now, it raises what one would call a structural question, because in a one-party parliament, we have to ask the question, then what would be the guardrails, right? What would be the institutional guardrails within the parliament? What would be the guardrails, right? So we want to look at the role of the president, because a lot of people keep saying, well, why don't the president do this, right? Why is the president so quiet? Want to look at the powers of the Senate, because already we know we can't do anything with the parliament, right? But we look at the powers of the Senate and look at what mechanisms exist to protect domestic balance, even if there's any. I don't know. We're going to look at that, right? Now, we know that Barbados became a republic on November the 30th, 2021, right? And the office of the president replaced the British monarch as head of state. That's really what they said happened. Under the Constitution of Barbados, which I know a lot of you are going to tell me, but it's not a Republican constitution. But under the amended Constitution of Barbados, the president is head of state. He formally appoints the prime minister, appoints ministers on the advice of the prime minister. Listen carefully. Appoints senators. The president appoints judges on advice or after consultation with the prime minister. He assents to bills passed by parliament, which means that he signs them into law. So the last place that the bills go would be to the president. And he signs them into law. And he may dissolve parliament on advice. And anytime you see advice, there is advice of the prime minister. All right? So he's a head of state. Formally, he appoints the prime minister. He appoints the ministers, but on the advice of the prime minister. He appoints the senators, again, appoints judges on advice of the prime minister, and he assents to bills passed, and he may dissolve parliament on advice. You remember when parliament was to be dissolved? She went up to see Mr. Bostic, the president. And Adrian has been talking to us about Barbados operating under a Westminster system. And that's where we divide our parliamentary system is from, where the head of state generally acts on the advice of the prime minister or the cabinet, and the cabinet is run by the prime minister. And this is what happens in parliamentary democracies, right? So the president is not an executive president like the president of the USA, like President Trump. Most of you know President Trump, right? So the president does not draft policy, debate legislation, introduce bills, the president does not govern independently of parliament, right? So this leads to the first question, right? The president being ceremonial. Can the president really provide any guardrails in this whole process? Can the president really, after all that I've just said, can the president in this one-party parliament, can the president provide that institutional guardrails? Let me go to the panel. Apostle, you want to jump in there first? Okay, you're muted.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we're hearing you, sir. Loud and clear.
All right. Now, I was saying, no, ma'am. The current president, as far as I know, is a member of the Barbados Labour Party and was a candidate with the Barbados Labour Party, served under the Barbados Labour Party, served as the Minister of Health and Wellness during COVID, was appointed president along with another person that I'm not going to mention. But both of those individuals, as far as my intelligence goes, both of those individuals who were submitted by the Prime Minister for the presidency were and are still members of the Barbados Labour Party. My understanding of the president is that the president should be a person of high standing and a person that can be categorized as neutral. Our president is not in a neutral position and can never be in a neutral position. If you are what is called a parliamentary president, which means that you are chosen and appointed by the parliament, then you cannot have more power than who appoints you. Okay. Now, many individuals would see the swearing-in ceremony of the President of the United States of America. You see him taking the oath of office by the head of the Supreme Court there. And you understand that the laws in America pass that whenever there's an issue with the president and the president cannot function, the power does not go to the vice president. Power goes to the head of the Supreme Court. And then if the president is deemed to be incapacitated, then the vice president is sworn in. But you can never have more power than the person who swears you in. So if the parliament puts Mr. Bostic there, then Mr. Bostic cannot have more power than the parliament. So to answer your question, there's no way that you're going to see him operating in a way that suggests in any way that he is carrying more power than the prime minister or the parliament. The moment that happens in Barbados, we're going to have a big issue.
Yeah. Let me go to Mr. Bob, and because we have a couple segments that we want to go through because we want to make it educational. And so go right ahead, Mr. Bob.
I totally agree. My concern is that he was appointed so close after being so actively involved in elective politics. There was what I didn't see. I was concerned that there wasn't a period where he was away from active politics. And we are all human beings. We're going to be influenced by the who we have associated the closest with, and we tend to keep our ties. And he was away from public life, and this is the first time, as far as I'm aware, that that we had the governor general and now the president was so closely connected in such a short space of time with any political party, and that is concerning.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Bob. Well, let's look at um, legislation. Can the president block legislation? We're talking about him being, some kind of guardrails. What can he really do? So factually, the president must assent to bills passed by both houses of parliament. We already passed that, right? The Constitution does not provide for an American-style veto power. So when the bills come, say, for example, the cybercrime bill, it does not provide for him to veto it, right? If he refused to assent, which is to sign the bill, he would create a serious constitutional confrontation, which is what Apostle was alluding to. Therefore, the president does not function as a political counterweight to the elected house. He's not there to try to balance out anything. He signs. He goes sign, right? We are in a parliamentary democracy. The primary safeguards against overreach are, because we're talking about no guardrails, safeguards. Can the president be that for us? We're seeing not that he can't, but if he refuses to sign something, then it becomes it's a big issue. It's a serious issue. It says a serious constitutional confrontation. And so within this parliamentary democracy, the safeguards we have are what? Some of you can start writing it in the chat. One, the Constitution itself. You're listening, folks? The Constitution itself. Judicial review, which is the courts, in the courts. Another safeguard that we have, Mr. Bob, is the Senate, which is why we're going to look at the structure of the Senate. The Senate in the parliamentary democracy is supposed to be a safeguard against overreach, especially that we are in this one-party parliament. Free elections, and I would add fair elections, free and fair. Civil society is a primary safeguard against overreach in a parliamentary democracy, which we're under. And the press, free press. Okay? So the president, he can be a constitutional guardian to try to guard the Constitution, but is he going to want to override the prime minister? Will he doesn't have veto power to not sign a law or a bill into law. So really the true safeguards we have are those that I just listed. The big question is, are they working? Let's discuss the Senate, guys. Let's discuss the Senate. Somebody said not the Senate. All right, let's discuss the Senate, the makeup of what we see of the Senate that is supposed to be what are your concerns? Mr. Bob, I think you're ready to go. What are your concerns?
We have the Senate makeup of 21 persons, of which the government has 12. The independent, which are selected by the governor, the president, the 7, and the 2 for the opposition, and that's the party more or less who forms the opposition, which we don't have. So we now see the appointment of 1 from the Democratic Labour Party or 1 from another party, FOD, Friends of Democracy. My concern is that the independent senators And we know that within the Senate, with this government having to pass any type of constitutional, anything to do with the Constitution, we need a 2/3 majority.
Mhm.
And what we have seen so far, based on the selection and then the maneuverings of some persons who are in the Senate, who have been selected inverted commas as independent senators, carries some type of allegiance to the party, and the so I see those Senate picks independence as consolidation of power for the government.
Mm. Who are some of those? Who are some of those names? So, I mean, they're no public officials, so we can call the names.
We know of Slocum and how he has projected himself as a sympathizer. We have
But let's ask everybody who's watching. If you were to take a guess of which party Jamal Slocum supports, what would you think? Anybody up there? What party you think that he would be? Because he's considered an independent senator, right? But continue.
yeah, but then we have questions next to Miss Redmond's name as well and her operations. And
Tell us who is Miss Redmond.
she was
There are people who don't know.
she was a union, and I don't necessarily if she's still connected with the STU. But we have instances where she we can believe that she supported the incumbent government. So to have them as independents puts a lot of raises a lot of questions about how independent thinking are they. Not saying that they, based on the appointment, that they cannot be objective. That does not interfere with the objectivity. But I believe that the appointments that we have seen consolidates the power of the ruling party. Because if you want to make constitutional change, you need that 2/3 majority, and you cannot have your independents selected, giving you a lot of problems when it comes to that moment. You want your agenda, make sure your agenda is carried. So it would be interested next couple of years to see how they function. And I'm independent means that you're able to bring some type of objectivity that those independent senators, along with the two who are appointed from the opposition, has to bring some type of balance. They have to. They have to be the checks and balances for the people. If they fail in that regard, they fail where they have defeated the purpose under which they have been selected as independents and oppositions. You cannot be there seen as rubber stamping when you know that if you're being objective and you operate on principle, you have to present that, because that is where you and why you have been selected in the first place.
And Mr. If Apostle, well, we don't have a lot of time, but I want us to really discuss this, because somebody said Miss Redmond. From the time I came to Barbados, there was always this union leader, Miss Redmond, and she was always, I guess, talking about teachers' rights and so on. And once the BLP came into power, she doesn't do that anymore. So then I realized, she's, in my mind, she's BLP, and she's at the BLP functions. I've seen Mr. Jamat, what's his name, Jamal Slocum, he's up and front and center at the BLP functions, right? So I don't know. I mean, and somebody's saying that Ryan Ford is Henry Ford's son. So did the president miss an opportunity here to really choose independent senators? Mr. Apostle.
Definitely. I mean, seriously, if you're talking about integrity legislation, you have Mr. Alim, who told the public, and it was in the front of the Nation newspaper, for God's sake, where he made it clear that the electoral list was ready. 2 weeks later, you know, Sturgeon comes back and tells us, okay, the list is now finally ready. So he lied to the public. So how do you, as the president, you're going to make a man who lied to the people of Barbados, you're going to make him a senator? So what we're seeing is, again, this system that is in place, that is put in place by the Motley administration to make sure that everything works her way. And I'm not afraid to say that. From the president to the leaders of the EBC to making sure that individuals who are over, you know, the union, they are on board. It's a sellout, buyout system over and over and over again. And I do not understand why, when we're looking at something as critical as the Senate, why is there not a system where there's neutrality in relation to who's being selected to be in the parliament, in the Senate rather? Because it seems like what we are doing and what the Barbados Labour Party is doing is making sure that at every level they have all of the people in place to get them the yes, to set up a system where there's literally no resistance whatsoever to whatever they want to do. And this is where the people of Barbados must begin to wake up and realize that we have a dictatorial system, a dictatorship system rather, that is here in Barbados, and it goes from the highest pretty much all the way down to the lowest levels. So I saw that as an opportunity for the president, if he claims, you know, military background and all of these things, understanding law, understanding order, understanding right and wrong, understanding the opportunity to do right, and you refuse to do that when the opportunity is given to you on behalf of the Barbados, the people of Barbados, I don't see anything better coming going forward. And that's my honest opinion.
Yeah. Well, you know, someone asked a question, but what if the president doesn't decide that they're not signing the bill? Because they don't really have veto power, they can. I put a note here that said the bill passed in both houses is not law until the president gives assent. Without presidential assent, it does not take effect. The president may return a bill for reconsideration. He might return it with a note to say, reconsider this based on constitution, etc. But in our Westminster system, which Adrian taught us so well about, the head of state does not normally exercise a political veto, meaning it's not something that is going to be long term, right? The bill is going to go through. It's going to become law. All right. So that is to answer that particular question. Now, we had a situation today. So I think all in all, I think we're all, the three of us here, we're saying that in our minds, it would have been to the benefit of Barbados, seeing that we have a one-party parliament. We would have preferred, we would have liked to see the president exercise a little more, you know, judgment and discretion in who is appointed to the Senate. In terms of the independent senators, I would think that you would want to not to move away far from the BLP, seeing that there is a BLP parliament, you know, and not put people there that are supposed to be independent senators that we, in our minds, I mean, we can't, once we see them, we see BLP. And even if it's just the impression of that, I think, you know, it's creating a problem. And as Mr. Bob said, it could be because we want to, because they want to make sure they have the 2/3 majority in the Senate, because that's the last place, right? Before it gets to the president. But, and so you wonder, is your concern that you had, Apostle, that he You know, he's a BLP. He's a BLP. I don't know if he removed his membership, but it was so quick after he left office. So in our minds, our president, our president is BLP. I think that's fair to say. In our
Yeah,
minds,
pretty much.
So the president is BLP, the prime minister running a BLP government, and majority of the senators are BLP. What are we living in here? What's happening here? Now, let me go to the opposition senators. There's something out there. Dave, if you can put up the blue text graphic. I think that it's important that because something happened today, Mr. Bob, where people saw, you had it up earlier. It's the one about, yes, where we noticed that there were 2 opposition senators that were appointed. And a lot of people said, well, it shouldn't be that, because it should be the party that gains the second most votes that have the 2 places. And I want to clear that up, people. We need to clear that up. Now, what I found is that Barbadians, yes, you're remembering correctly that there was discussion in 2022 about the party with the second highest votes, right? The party with the second highest votes that they would appoint from, it is from that party that the opposition senators would be appointed if we have a situation where we do not have a leader of the opposition, right? The only problem, Barbadians, is that it did not become law. It was only a discussion. It's there, like a lot of a lot of things now, and I don't wrong Barbadians thinking that it was so, because everything is so confusing, you know. So the Constitution, the amended Constitution, because somebody said, but Marcia, there's no Constitution. There's an amended Constitution that's not Republican, but it's they amended the old Constitution that they keep patching up and taking out and doing what they like with. That Constitution still states that the 2 opposition senators are appointed on the advice of a leader of the opposition, right? It still says that. If there's no leader of the opposition, that mechanism obviously cannot operate. Dave, if you can move it up a little bit for me, if you, right? In that case, the president must ensure that the Senate is properly constituted and therefore make appointments in accordance with the Constitution. So it is he's making the appointments. And, if it is, say it was one party, and then he says, okay, send me names, and then he can make, it seems like from what here, he can make the judgment. Obviously, he makes the judgment on who is going to be the opposition senator, because there's no leader of the opposition. I hope that clarifies a lot of things that people have been sending around and so on. Mr. Bob, you want to jump in there? I think you want to say something.
I think it's clear what we see here, that it was a discussion about the party getting the second highest number of votes. So it's just a discussion. So people went away and look at a lot of things that we've been having. So people went away having heard that discussion, still believing that it's law. But I'm glad that you were able to clear it up tonight, so that the president acted in his own judgment, and he selected based on the situation that we are presented with.
Yes. And so therefore, I mean, he would have his reasons for not selecting Ralph Thorne. Like somebody would just say, well, the names before him, he made a decision that he did not put Ralph Thorne in the Senate. And so this tells us exactly what happened. Okay, good. Any comment on this, Mr. Apostle Canterbury, before we move on?
The Prime Minister is not going to want Mr. Thorne in the Senate. Okay? Mr. Thorne has done Barbados human service during his tenure as the opposition leader. He's brought several things to the awareness of the public that would have been passed into law here in Barbados if he did not cross the floor. Okay? I think it is in the president's judicial mind to understand that you're going to need a brilliant mind such as Mr. Thorne in the Senate. And to now, I don't have any issues with Mr. World,
Ryan
Mr. Walters. Okay,
yes.
I have no issue with him. Brilliant guy, but at a juncture where we have another election, another stolen election, by the way, with all 30 seats going to the Barbados Labour Party, I think it would be in the president's best interest to make sure that the opposition has, if not the brightest mind in the Senate. And to do this to Mr. Thorne at this time, I personally don't believe that the president was acting alone when this happened. I believe that there were other extenuating factors and persons getting involved to make sure that the Barbados Labour Party continues the destruction of Mr. Thorne. Okay? And I think that in relation to looking at what would be necessary for the people of Barbados to have, in my opinion, the best mind, the best legal mind, a competent orator, someone who has demonstrated in the last month and a half that, or for the last number of months, that he's very concerned about the operation and the activity of this government, where the people of Barbados are concerned. A man that, in my opinion, did a fantastic job in rallying the Democratic Labour Party and having them ready for an election in such a short space of time. I think those qualities should have gone into the decision-making machinery of the president. If you are looking for an opportunity to have a solid Senate and giving the opposition senators the tact, the leverage, the power to properly represent the people of Barbados within the Senate, I think he made a huge error in his judgment in that matter. But I've seen the way how Mr. Walters function, he and Mr. Worrell, and he's presented himself, pretty strong, pretty credible for the time that I've seen him. I'm certain that he will grow and develop into this the more that he has the opportunity. But in my honest opinion, if you're looking at the people of Barbados, and if you know that our government has 30 seats in the House right now, you know that you need a very strong Senate to make sure that things are properly looked at. And we do need a person with a very strong legal mind who's able to look at the bills and look at the legislation, just like Mr. Franklin was able to see that one word that was spouse and went to partner. All of these are things that we've seen this administration try their best to sneak through into the into legislation and into law, and we need a very strong legal mind that will take the time to look at what is being presented and make sure that the public of Barbados, they are kept aware of the things that this administration that has a habit of sneaking and rushing bills at midnight so they can get what they want done. We needed the strongest, most credible legal mind in the Senate right now. And I think that was a huge oversight on the part of the presidency to overlook Mr. Thorne. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah. And you know, when you think, viewers, on what the Senate can actually do, because I want you to stop and think about what Apostle is saying, and the fact that we have a one-party parliament. Hold that in your head. So then the saving grace could have been the Senate. If we had a president, in my mind, who is thinking independently and thinking about balance. And so I want to ask the president, respectfully, sir, were you thinking about balance? But what am I asking you about thinking about balance when you have to move on the advice of the prime minister?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So the Senate, I believe we're disappointed in what the president has done generally, not just with the opposition senators, but with the so-called independent senators. The Senate has the power to debate legislation, viewers, recommend amendments, because they are the upper house. It gets to them. They can delay certain bills to protect us, the people, scrutinize government policy, right? But the effectiveness of their function depends on the independence of its members. Honestly, look at the people in the Senate. I don't know if they can put up the names of everybody. How many of them you see there that you can say they're independent? Well, even of the 7, Mr. Bob, if you have the names of the 7 independent senators, and this is a problem with Barbados. This is the problem that we have. We have a one-party parliament, and we have a president who, in our minds, is aligned to the Barbados Labour Party, who is the ruling government. Assign independent senators that in our minds are connected to the Barbados Labour Party. What are we doing here? The Senate's supposed to be what they call the chamber of sober second thought. The chamber of sober second thought, because you've gone to the one-party parliament, now you're going to the Senate. So the effectiveness of the function of the Senate depends on the independence of its members, which is most of us don't believe they're independent. And we're except for the opposition senators. The seriousness of the debate and the willingness to propose amendments. Are they capable, Mr. Bob, Mr. Apostle was alluding to that. Are they even capable of proposing amendments? The Reverend has been there. He hasn't done much. He hasn't done much. Every now and again, you would hear Monique say something. Monique is gone. Crystal Drakes. Did I call the name right? Right? Crystal Drakes. She's gone. They removed her. So here we are. It seemed to me that the Senate would not be able to function the way we know what Ryan is about. We know what Ryan is about. I don't know much about this Karina Goodrich, which I'm being told, it's being alleged that she's first cousin to the Deputy Prime Minister. Is that true? I don't know. Is Karina Goodrich, are you first cousin to the Deputy Prime Minister? I mean, the whole thing just seems... Mr. Bob, you're raring to go. Go right ahead.
I don't know if I'm raring to go. I'm just thinking that this is going to be some interesting times for our governance in Barbados, and the true nature of this government and how it operates will be revealed to Barbados in short order, because all habits die hard, and I don't see them changing. In fact, from what we've seen in terms of selection, they're consolidating who they are. and what their agenda is supposed to be. So Barbadians can brace themselves, because if you have any doubts, you will not have any doubts in short order.
Yes, yes, and we missed our calling time, but I wanna, but I thought this was important, as that we sit down and go through this, Apostle. I want those in the those viewers who are watching. I want you to make a comment on this in the comment section, because we don't have enough time to go to do the calling. We probably will do that on Sunday. But should there be published criteria for independent senators? Do you think? I mean, right now it's not required from the Constitution. It is, he has to use his discretion, and he, along with the advice he's going to get from the Prime Minister to appoint the independent senators. But do you think that the criteria should be published? I think that there's some kind of criteria, but should it be published so everybody sees it? But in the meantime, Apostle, any comment that you might have?
Yeah, I'm looking at, again, the reality that you have, a government that has, again, taken all 30 seats. You're looking at a Senate that seems to be comprised of individuals who have supported them, again, in gaining all 30 seats. You're seeing that everything is stacked pretty much against the Constitution. So you have a president that is pretty much a member of the Barbados Labour Party, served under them. You have a Senate that is comprised now of the majority as far as membership of the Barbados Labour Party are concerned. So really you have a parliament, you have a lower house, you have an upper house, you have a presidency that is pretty much stacked against the Constitution and the people of Barbados. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what the Senate says yes to, what they allow, if they're credible people and if they're people of standard and good standing in Barbados, if they're going to continue to allow this government to pretty much get away with murder here in Barbados by, bringing legislation and bills that clearly takes away the sovereignty and the freedom and leverage that people should have here as free people in Barbados. And this is my my main point going forward. Are Barbadians ever going to prosper in their own country? Are they ever going to be free in their own country? Or are they going to continue to be subjected by systemic subliminal colonialism tactics that are being levied on them by an administration who see nothing more than to turn Barbados over into the hands of the highest bidder? So it's going to be very critical to see what this Senate will say yes to, and if they will ever reach the place where they reject any bills totally, and not just from the issue or the area of the opposition senators, but if the Senate will look at bills that are being brought by the Barbados Labour Party and say, no, this is not good enough for the people of Barbados. So we're going to see in a very short space of time if this is a yes body for the Barbados Labour Party, or if this is a credible Senate that's being put together by the president of Barbados. We're going to see it for ourselves.
Yes, and what I mean, very very good points there, guys. And I think this is a fair discussion that we're having tonight, and it should be of real cause for concern, because again, I'm going to repeat it, and I'm repeating the sentiments of majority of Barbadians. In their minds, the president is BLP. The president has, in their minds, some of the senators, the independent senators that he says they're independent. In our minds, Mr. President, they are BLP because we see them operating on behalf of BLP. We have not heard of any or seen anything different from them. Okay, so we are concerned because there's a one-party parliament, which is a BLP parliament. So therefore, there is a serious concern that the citizens have. we're supposed to have guardrails through media. The media, CBC is BLP. Starcom is a BLP propaganda, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. I think, I'm not stating a fact. I think that Starcom is a BLP propaganda machinery. That's what I think. Look at who is in charge, who is running who owns Barbados today. Look at who is the head of the nation and the editor of the nation and all of the people who work at the nation. All of that is underneath the BLP. All of them drink the Kool-Aid.
BLP influence. BLP influence, yes.
BLP influence. That's
and you know, Marcia, the first thing, and we have to look at one of the things that leads to dictatorship is the control of press and what gets to the people. And once you control all the media centers, the news outlets, you control the messaging. By any government, you know where you're heading, or possible cultivating dictatorship.
Yeah. So that is the thing there. And you know, the other thing about this which is very odd, is that the freedom of democracy people, Miss Karina Goodrich, that's why I'm going to give you a chance.
Friends of democracy. Friends of democracy,
yes.
I am sorry. I'm going to, just like I gave the president on the show, I said I'm going to wait and see what the president does. Okay. The same way I'm going to give Karina, Miss Goodrich, the benefit of the doubt. Okay. But especially if you have these familial connections, if it is true. Plus, is it the person who founded the party, Steve Blackett? I don't know. Does anybody know is he working with the BLP government right now? I don't know. If that is so, that's a whole lot of problems right there for me as a citizen. You see? So all of that is important when it comes on to friends of democracy. I know Ryan Walters and I know what he can do. All right. And so I'm going to support that, Ryan Walters, and I will support Miss Goodrich as well. She seemed like a lovely person. I met her and she seems like a lovely person. But when it comes on to representing Barbados, are you going to represent Barbadians in there, Miss Goodrich? Is that what you're going to do? As Senator Crystal Drakes would have done, or Monique Tate, right? Just Karina, not Karina. Okay, Karina, they said. Okay. Well, you know, we're at 10 o'clock, a minute to 10. And so we are going to close off. But I would like to know, let me just go to Apostle. Apostle, any final word there that you want to say?
Yeah, well, I'm going to say this, you know, with the, again, looking back at what was said by Ms. Motley when the Frondell Stewart administration had 16, and she was saying how, you know, how too full it was. Now you have the full slate, and you have probably 25, 27 of those individuals that are now in office and taking salaries, and it's almost pretty much double that, and it's not an issue. Here's my point, though, that I want to say here. I think we need legislation in regards to persons who did not come to the people of Barbados to be elected. And this is in relation to Mr. Sinclair and Mr. Walcott. If you didn't get elected, if the people didn't elect you, I don't see why you should have an office. Okay, and I'm going to say this: there's certain legislation that needs to be passed that this government will not be interested in passing, because It's just pretty much about them at the moment and what they want to achieve. But I am going to say this. I haven't seen this type of activity in my entire life where one party goes after one person the way that this administration went after Mr. Thorne and has done everything that they could have possibly done to demoralize, to discredit, to defame Mr. Thorne the way that they have done. And, you know, it's not over until God says it's over. And I want them to know that their time is coming. But I want to say this in closing, that I realize from moving around and talking to individuals, even staunch Barbados Labour Party supporters, the people are waking up. They're waking up slowly, but they're waking up surely. And many Barbados Labour Party supporters have come to the realization that this administration that they have supported for so many years is not the administration it was years ago. And I'm hoping that more and more people will begin to wake up and begin to realize, because right now, the Prime Minister, the Barbados Labour Party, this administration is only the administration over probably 18–19% of the country. So far, 80% of the country has rejected them, and they have been left with a certain group of individuals right now that they are now the leaders over. So I'm hoping that the people of Barbados will stay strong, begin to work together, and begin to put themselves in a position to push back at this administration the moment that they overstep their boundaries with any legislation, any laws, or any bills that they want to pass that would disrespect the people of Barbados and undermine the sovereignty of our nation.
Excellent, excellent, Apostle. Real great. Over to you, Mr. Bob.
I just want to say to those persons listening, and as it relates to Mr. Thorne and what they did, it is not peculiar to how they operate in terms of their own style of attack on leaders. They did it with Thompson, Sandiford, Fronda Stewart, Errol Barrow. So no matter who emerges as the leader of the DLP, they are going to be the subject of scathing attacks because they believe because they believe in leadership is a big thing for them. So if you take off the head of the leader, you project that person, he or she, as inferior, not capable, incompetent, and you can sell a message like that, it destroys the other people. And the other candidates cannot hang on to the coattails. Whereas they were able to project their leader as this international figure and who carried the weight of poor representatives. And I want Barbados to understand they may have voted, those persons who took the opportunity to vote, 30.7%, may have voted for Mayor Motley, but they are forgetting that she has to hire those incompetent people that they were concerned about. That is what probably will get people outside the cabinet being hired and put into ministries. That is why. So we are going to nothing has changed and nothing will change. And we will see, and this is the turn where we will see the real nature of the Barbados Labour Party emerge before our eyes. And we can decide as a people what we do after that.
Yes, very, very well said. And you know, there's a point that I wanted to make, and I just take about a minute or so to make it. And it's this, gentlemen, I was sitting down today, and I thought of what I believe was done to. It's just my belief. Okay, I can't prove it. I have no evidence, but I believe that David Thompson. I believe that they took him out. They took his life. And that's what I believe. You don't have to believe that. It's my belief. My belief that it was a deliberate attack on his life to remove him from the earth, because in doing so they could destabilize. It's all about destabilizing the DLP. And you could see what happened. He didn't even, I don't think he spent about a year in office and was doing such a fantastic job. And he was gone. Mr. Owen Arthur, when after they got into office and they got the 30 Love, we got the 30 Love, people said, well, you know, Arthur will be there to try to, you know, will help us for the next couple of years. Arthur was dead and gone. And I tell you something, I believe that's what they're trying to do with Mr. Thorne. And I'm asking everybody out there who's a prayer warrior, if you have not been praying for Mr. Thorne, to pray for Mr. Thorne. They would like to see him 6 foot under in the same coffin that they had on election night or election morning. That's what they would want. The powers are the spiritual powers that be wanted the DLP to not just be defeated, but be in mourning over those 4 persons in the car that overturned. They will stop at nothing but God. But God. So everybody, I want you to say a prayer for Mr. Thorne tonight. Because they believe that they want to humiliate him. They want to push him in the ground. They want to rub him in the ground. And you know, Apostle, several persons, at least 3 persons or 2 persons called me today and they said, Marcia, we want to do a public display of our love for Mr. Thorne and our gratitude. And I turned to them and I said, because they want us to go on the streets, I said, we can't go on the street with 3 persons saying, we thank you, Mr. Thorne. Will the people come? Will they turn out? How important is that for Barbados? That we turn out and publicly say, thank you, Mr. Thorne. How many of you in the comment section would come out to say, thank you, Mr. Thorne? How many of you would come out because you like to call and give these ideas, but where are you? These are people who never even come to any marches, but telling me to do something. Are you going to come out to say, thank you, Mr. Thorne? Because I tell you, this is what they're after. They will do whatever they could to stop this show. Because they know we're authentic, Apostle. Mr. Bob. Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
And they would want to see that man off the face of the earth. Yeah? As when I say they, as they did for Thompson and Arthur, because those that they needed Thompson out. But this is where we end. On Sunday, we have a special show. We have a very special show on Sunday. And that is going to be where we have a gentleman from Guyana who experienced a whole lot of atrocities at the hand of his leaders there as a businessman. And he's going to be on the show. Yeah. This is him, targeted, jailed, no justice, live Sunday, 7 p.m. And many of you have seen Darwin Best. You've seen that we've sent it all around and you've seen this. He's going to come on and tell his story. All right. Yes. All right. Well, this is where we close. We've gone over time. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for wonderful guests. Guess what?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, great job. Great job, guys. Great job.
Yes, ma'am.
God bless you. Remember to pray for Mr. Thorne.
Yes.
For Mr. Thorne. Okay. God bless you all. And bye-bye. Okay. And congratulations to Ryan Walters. Congrats, Ryan Walters.
When a man talk truth, stand up firm and don't bow. They don't attack the message, they attacking them. So let we deal with that tonight. Hey, why they calling the rats? Cause he reliable, accountable, truthful, every man stand up to the facts. Why they calling the rats? Reason, accuracy, transparency. That is the man in the house talking plain like that, plain like that. They couldn't call you wrong, so they call you rat. Try walk up and claim, but it fall down flat. Cause when the laws get heavy and democracy shake, he was the one saying Barbados, wait, check the mandate. He crossed the floor with principle, not looking for no fame. Truth is a lighthouse, so they target his name. But you can't shame a man who stand up straight. He restoring accountability today. So let them speculate. Hey, why they calling the rat? Why they calling the rat? Cause he reliable, accountable, truthful, already man stand up for the facts. Why they calling the rats? Reason, accuracy, transparency. He read every line, don't skim, he don't slack like that. Hey, hey, yeah. If truth is cheese, let me tell you so. He Guinness sniff out the lies wherever they go. In committee debates or late night session, he protects invasions from each rash suggestion. He ain't hiding no corner, he writing the lies, calling our wrong and defending what right. They call here off, well, we spell it again. Reliable, accurate, transparency, friend. Already, what that mean? Reliable, accountable, truthful. Already, what he bring? Reason, accuracy. Already, why that's sweet? Restoring accountability. They complete already. Why that sweet story? Yeah. So when the platform talk gets salty and hot and the slogans get wild with a new plot, just ask who reading, who thinking, who checking the laws, who standing firm, not just clapping applause. They send out this mails hoping something would stick, but the man too calm, too sharp, too quick. So if rat is the label that they want to create, we owning it now. Ralph Anthony Thorne. Real and soulmates. Come on. Why they calling it? Why they calling it rats? Cause he reliable, accountable, truthful, already man stand up for the facts. Yeah. Why they calling it rats? Reason, accuracy, transparency. The only kind of rat that Barbados respect. I love them. Why they calling it rats? Why they calling it rats? Cause he reliable, accountable, truthful, already man stand up for the facts. Yeah. Why they calling it rats? Reason, accuracy, transparency. The only kind of rat